Hail Satan. The devil has always been cinema's easiest shortcut to horror. Horns, fire, temptation, instant dread, yet for decades filmmakers have squandered that potential. Instead of unsettling us, they hand the devil over to priests, rosaries, and the Catholic Church's PR department. The Exorcist worked somewhat because it allowed evil to feel incomprehensible and faith fragile. But most exorcism cinema since then, especially franchises like The Conjuring, haven't been horror. They've been propaganda with jump scares. Evil shows up, the church arrives, usually that's not synonymous for some reason, order is restored, and we all go home reassured. I've pretty much attested to that in the previous 2 videos on this topic. But then, out of nowhere, enters Longlegs, one of my favorite films of 2024. What makes Longlegs fascinating is that it begins as if it might be that kind of movie. Killings tied to satanic rituals, coded letters signed Longlegs, and a looming devil whose presence hangs over every frame and who appears in some of them too. A sort of demonic Fincher film, if you will. But, to the audience's surprise, the film ends up somewhere else entirely. The devil here doesn't need priests or rituals. His presence is suffocating, ambiguous, and more whispered than shouted. And as the story unfolds, the devil becomes less the subject than the backdrop. The real horror, it turns out, is parenting. The lies parents tell their children, the protective myths they spin, and the way love can distort into something destructive. In this video, we will trace both arcs. How Longlegs reinvents devil horror by stripping away religious dogma, and how, in the end, it becomes a film about family and the terrifying weight of parenthood. To give some context, the devil or demons almost always appear in exorcism cinema. It follows a very simple blueprint. As I mentioned, the devil attacks, families suffer, church intervenes, faith triumphs, repeat for sequels. This sometimes works. The Exorcist was a pretty good film because it wasn't selling certainty at that point. The claim of true events was added in later by William Friedkin, but the film wasn't marketed as a true story. The Exorcist essentially created a new genre of film, which became very popular with The Conjuring, where horror essentially became a sermon. There, evil is loud, spectacular, but contained. The Warrens arrive like superheroes in clerical drag, and suddenly horror is neutered. The viewer is reassured, and reassurance is the death of fear. That, along with the demonization of critical thinking, as mentioned in my previous 2 videos, is a trap that most devil films fall into. They confuse horror with doctrine. They give you evil as spectacle, and then resolve it with church. It's tidy, it's dishonest, and worst of all, it's fucking boring. But Osgood Perkins, the director of Longlegs, doesn't play by those rules. Longlegs builds its terror through dread, silence, and suggestion. There are no priests in sight, no holy water, no exorcism. Instead, there are cryptic letters tied to the birthday murders where fathers kill their families on specific dates, dolls imbued with menace used as carriers of corruption, and a sense that the devil is present, but not as a cartoon villain, as atmosphere. A looming presence akin to dread that saturates every frame. The devil doesn't need to manifest physically, though he does in a few frames to hint at the audience who the real villain is. He doesn't need horns or fire. His power is the creeping idea that he is everywhere and nowhere, working through ordinary people who should be safe. Fathers, mothers, neighbors, nuns. Lee Harker, the FBI agent investigating those murders, portrayed fantastically by Micah Monroe, isn't fighting evil with faith. She's navigating a world where evil whispers and manipulates, infecting from within. The dread comes not from spectacle, but from the realization that this kind of evil can't be cast out. The devil in Longlegs isn't a monster to be slain. He is a manipulator. His work is slow, quiet, and corrosive. Longlegs' devil isn't interested in armies or empires. He's interested in a child, a family, and ruining one life at a time. That's why the movie is frightening. The devil's looming presence saturates the entire film, but not through flashy set pieces. Instead, it's in the letters, the dolls, the way ordinary families implode, and the way he easily controls people. Through maniacs like Longlegs, but also through normal, ordinary people. He doesn't roar, he whispers. He doesn't seek apocalypse, he seeks intimacy. And this is where irreligious or atheistic directors, like Osgood Perkins himself has claimed to be, often excel, because they don't treat religion as truth. They treat it as texture. Perkins isn't preaching. He's using Satan as a vessel for something deeper. Just as Robert Eggers in The Witch and Roman Polanski in Rosemary's Baby weaponized religion to critique family, patriarchy, and paranoia, Perkins uses it to talk about the lies parents tell their children. As he himself notes, Longlegs really at its core is a parenting movie. That's a direct quote, and this is where the film turns. While the devil remains present, the real revelation is that the horror runs through Lee's family. Lee's mother, Ruth, played by Alicia Witt, raised her alone, shrouding her past in secrecy. Ruth's faith is intense, but it's also a mask for concealment. Through the investigation, Lee uncovers not just the murders tied to Longlegs, by the way played fantastically by Nicolas Cage, but the lies her own mother told to protect her. The truth about her father, about her childhood, about the connections between her family and the murders, all of it has been hidden in a misguided attempt at love. Perkins has outright said that the film is about the lies parents tell their children, and the fragile responsibility of shaping how a child sees the world. Ruth's choices come from love, fear, and faith, but also from denial. In trying to shield Lee from danger, she exposes her to something worse. By the climax, it isn't the devil Lee must defeat, but her mother. Ruth reveals that she has been complicit, distributing dolls, carrying out rituals, ensuring sacrifices. She tells Lee that another family must die for Satan, and Lee, realizing the scope of betrayal, shoots her mother in the head. It's not a showdown with Satan, it's a confrontation with the parent who is both protector and destroyer. The film's true horror is not just supernatural evil, but what happens when the person who raised you is revealed to be the source of your undoing. The heart of Longlegs is this: parents lie. Sometimes small lies, sometimes monumental ones. They tell stories to protect their children, to shape their worldview, to shield them from pain. But those lies come at a cost. Ruth thought she was protecting Lee by hiding the truth about her father, about the murders, and about her own complicity. But the lies only deepen the wound. This is what makes the film so haunting. The devil is terrifying, but he is also metaphor. The real horror is that family, the place meant to be safest, can be the very thing that destroys you. The ending of Longlegs offers no redemption. Lee kills her mother, but evil isn't defeated. The devil's looming presence remains, and families are destroyed. This is why Longlegs works. It denies us the catharsis of exorcism cinema. There's no priest, no ritual, no faith to set things right. There's only the revelation that love and lies are entangled, and sometimes the most terrifying evil is the one that raised you. When your villain is the devil, the easy route to take is dogma. You trot out faith, ritual, and holy water. But Longlegs proves that you don't need sermons to scare. You need atmosphere, ambiguity, and a looming devil who never quite leaves the frame. The devil here isn't really a character. It's a mood. And the mood is dread. But more importantly, Longlegs shows us that the devil isn't the heart of the horror at all. The real story here is parenting. The lies told out of love, the myths built to shield children, and the way those myths curdle into ruin. That's why Longlegs doesn't suck. It's not just a devil movie. It's a film about the unbearable weight of family, and how the scariest monsters may be the people who raised us.
God is dead! Hail Satan lives! The year is one! Hail!